Oh, hey, what's up, Command Bar? Hey, Zang. Yeah, I do feel a little sleepy this morning. I haven't drinking any coffee either. But we'll get there. We'll get there, you know? We'll get the caffeination happening. But good morning, good to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. See, there you go. There's the yawning. I'm making a OS called Popcorn where you cook the kernel. Oh, that sounds like something the creators of Zig would be behind. Very, very clever. I see what you did there.
Average_person32 is telling you to drink some coffee.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that, average person. Also, good morning, average person. Ah, that's that first sip of coffee, man. It's too good. It's too good. So what? Oh, okay. All right. We're live there. We're live there. We got that taken care of. Got that taken care of. I think all the house. Oh, we need to make sure Discord posted. What's cooking today? I have no idea, honestly. I want to go back and work on my personal finance app at some point, but I'm kind of still in a wait and see mode there. I have a SDK that I'm working on in Go that I've been intermittently working on here and there. I finished up a Rust version of that SDK yesterday. So I'm kind of in this weird place where it's like, do I start another project or, you know what I mean? I'm not really sure. Let's see. Leave that window up. Let's rename this to bottom. 6 a.m. Come on, it's too early. Dude, it is so early. It's actually 5:20 for me, so you must be an hour ahead of me. Normally I start a lot earlier than this too. I just kept snoozing the alarm, snoozing the alarm, snoozing the alarm. I stayed up a little bit too late trying to get my my first Rust crate published. I stayed up a little bit too late. But I did get it published. I'm officially a published Rust. What do you call them? Crates, I guess. I officially have my own Rust crate. I don't know if anyone will ever use it, but I also was screwing around with my Git T server that I set up, which was a lot of fun to set up. How do you build those with totally different languages? I mean, how can you write good code within this context? I guess I would never claim that it's necessarily like good code. I mean, I always try to write the best code that I can write, you know, and I just try to follow like the idiomatic practices of whatever language that I'm in. But I guess the only way you get better at a particular language is actually writing and working with that language. So I try to find excuses to build and write stuff in the languages that I am trying to get better at, you know? But I would never claim like I'm some expert, you know? But I haven't mastered a language, that's for sure. I have an idea to make something to test webhooks locally with a dashboard to replay events, see payloads, etc. That's a great idea. I Code came. Oh, so you mean like you prefer just to use Claude Code in those cases? That's totally fine, man. If that's the way you enjoy doing it, no, no issue here. I still very, very much enjoy authoring code. I like fussing over it. I like trying to get things to where they feel just right. It's like playing with Legos to me. But I understand there's a lot of people who don't get that same satisfaction or enjoyment. I do have a list. Let's see if I can find that list. I do have a list of things to look at on stream. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Try learning Java. There's a bunch of languages that we could try to learn. There's some animation libraries that we looked at. Podman, that was another container runtime we talked about at one point. Min.io. This was self-hosted S3 compatible storage. That was kind of an interest. Somebody brought that up on stream a long time ago. Oh wow, that's crazy. That shows you how fast technology moves. This is archived. This no longer AI store. Huh. I guess they turned it into a business or something, or they bought it. Not really sure. I don't really have need for anything like this right now, but I kind of like the idea of having my own. Try to build a node editor sort of like N8N or similar products. This is another project that I'd like to try this year, but it seems like I probably shouldn't start that now. We were in the process of learning F sharp. We could go write some F sharp. We need a Steven judging face emoji. I try not to judge too much. So if the judgment does show up on my face, I do apologize. All right, why don't we try to dive into Godot? Okay, it's either, well, I kind of want to. All right, let's take care of. Before we go off on an adventure and have some fun, let's take care of the homework that we have, which is finishing this SDK. So let's start there. Let's do the responsible thing, and let's finish the SDK. XRs, remember me asking when you were going to start a new project? I do remember you asking that, but I think I was already in the middle of Physical OS when you asked me that, right? See, because I'm kind of in this weird space where I don't really want to start another big project, because as soon as the physical OS bill hits, I'm going to go right back to building that. And I just think when you get too many projects going on at once, it's kind of stressful. Algorithm working. Oh, so it brought you back. I see. You didn't show up on my feed only now. Oh, that's hilarious. Maybe it does work like that. I have no idea how the algorithm works. I don't understand it. I don't understand anything about the YouTube algorithm. I don't understand why content gets served, why some things are popular and other things aren't. I've given up trying to figure it out. Gotta ride the AI hype train, I guess. Would be fun to see you make a S3 compatible storage solution. I don't think I could make one though, Zhang. I highly doubt I could. Let's see. No, it's more about the fact that I just feel like I'm time wasting if I don't use AI nowadays. Only issue I had so far was CUDA related stuff. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess I mean there's definitely I will definitely acknowledge there's a lot of things that AI probably can do faster than me, and for sure writing code is one of them. But I get it. If your only goal is to get to the end result in the shortest amount of time possible, I totally understand wanting to leverage those agents. Totally get it. Good morning, Thobison. How are you? Good day. Top of the morning to you. Anybody here a Peaky Blinders fan? How do I create a new branch? There we go. So let's do Stephen Freeborn feature. We need to add, let's see. I think we are on, we did fields. Now we need to do, I guess let's do lists. Yeah, let's do list. So feature, add, oops, add lists. Oh, whoops, that's not how you create a list. How do you create a list? Or a branch, sorry. Lazy get create new branch. Okay, 3. Oh, in. Duh. Feature, add list endpoints. We want to push to get T. Yep. All right, and then we'll start stubbing this out. Let's see. We'll do lists dot go and list test dot go. Got hit with the flu earlier in the week. Still recovering, honestly. How you doing today? I'm doing good. Yeah, sorry about getting the flu, man. Being sick's the worst. Get checkout dash B name, but that. Oh yeah. Sometimes I go back and forth between the command line and lazy get, and I forget that I have lazy get a lot of times in NeoVim, so I'll switch to another terminal tab. But that's dumb because now I can manage all my get stuff in NeoVim. I just need to get in the habit of it. But yeah, I have no complaints, man. I'm doing good. I'm healthy. My kids are healthy. My wife's healthy. I have a job. I have a job at least for now until all the agentic developers take it. But yeah, no complaints. Yeah, it's hard to pick up new habits, man. I think at some point we will see a massive data leak from one of these AI companies with source code for proprietary projects, because everyone is mindlessly feeding their code to AIs. Yeah, that would be pretty wild to be like talking to one of these LLMs and all of a sudden it just dumps out either code that shouldn't be there or secrets. That's the one that I've always thought would be crazy if it dumped out like a real secret. I don't even know what the odds of that are, given the nature of LLMs. Like, what's the probability of it producing an exact secret that it had previously seen? I'm guessing it's very, very low, but that would be pretty crazy. Good morning, Flyfisha. Thanks for being a member, man. Long time no see. Appreciate you supporting the channel like that. I actually saw an interesting article yesterday about AI chats being discoverable for evidence. which is kind of crazy because I think there's probably a lot of things people are putting in there that aren't the greatest. Let's see if I can find that article.
Did we just become best friends?
Hey, Monster, thanks for subbing, man. Appreciate that. I can't find it. But yeah, that's, I don't know. It's just kind of the whole AI world. You know how I feel about the AI world. I won't derail us too much, but it's a weird and crazy world out there. That's for sure. LinkedIn LLM leaking secrets. 85 prompts have PII. Each breach cost. What? Is this real? LLMs are leaking secrets. 8.5% of prompts have PII. Each breach costs 4.45 million. Is this real? So this is June of 2025. So this is over almost a year ago. Where did he get that data? I have to admit, this kind of looks LLM generated. Where did he get the data, though? 8.5% of prompts have PII. He must have got that from somewhere. "2025 study by Harmonic Security." So this is January 2025. Let's see. A recent study conducted by Harmonic Security reveals that reveals that nearly 8.5% of prompts made in generative AI tools potentially expose sensitive data. The research analyzed tens of thousands of user prompts across various Gen AI platforms such as Microsoft Copilot. It found that a range of different are at risk. Oh, you mean this is people sorry, I misunderstood. So this is people putting in sensitive information into the pipeline, not necessarily the model spitting them out. Okay, that's less surprising because I think people are putting all kinds of shit in their prompts. Yeah, that makes more sense. I was like, for a second, I thought it was the other thing. I'm sorry, I got confused. Forgive me. Oh, I need to update the doing. Sorry about that, D. Good morning. Let's see, what are we building today? We're building a API SDK in Go. That's what we're doing. I posted that blog post link I wrote in general yesterday, by the way. Let's see. Did I miss that? I think I asked you to post that and then I forgot about it. I'm sorry. That's my fault. What was it? What was it about? I can't. Oh, there it is. A pragmatic blog. I forgot about this. I need to make time to read it. I'm sorry. Let me set a reminder for myself. There we go. Hopefully I won't forget this time. Yes, top of the morning to you too, D. Good to see you. Good morning, Delusional Dev. Xaros, where can I find your streaming schedule? So, my streaming schedule is pretty typically it's this. Oops. I need to send this just on YouTube. At Xaros. Good morning, David Bailey. Good to see you. It's just 4:15 a.m. to 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can also find it on my Twitch profile. I think I have it there. Let's see. Maybe it only shows up when I'm live, when I'm not live. Let's see, schedule, link to Twitch, schedule. It should be there though.
Did we just become best friends?
Oh, you know what? I never took my Jason. Thanks for the follow.
Did
I
we
never
just
took
become
my
best friends?
Jonathan. Thanks for the sub on YouTube. Appreciate that. I never
Did
took
we just
my
become best friends?
B3 row followed. Appreciate it, man. There was a lot of influx of alerts there. I'm not used to that. I don't think I ever took my Twitch thing out of vacation mode. Let's see, creator. Let's see, settings, channel. How do you do that? Content? No. There we go. Stream schedule. Yeah, it's still in vacation mode. Yeah, I wish they had a way to like I could send you a link to the schedule, but I don't see one. Yeah, it's the same time almost every day. 4:15 a.m. to 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's when you can find me. All right. We're locked in again here. All right, so first things first, let's implement the API.onspring.com. Let's see, we're going to implement the put list endpoint. So this saves a list item. Okay. So let's go ahead and run to one of our tests here. We'll just copy the first test here. So we want to test lists. This is going to be save. Let's see, it should return an error if context is null. Yes, it should. So this one instead will be a fields, it will be lists, and instead of get, it will be save. And like that. We need to import all this stuff. Add import. Okay, and then we need to define that, because we haven't defined it yet. And then for the save, we're going to need 3 pieces of information. We're going to need the ID of the list, and then we're also going to need var list item. And that's going to be a struct. and it's going to have an ID value, which is probably just going to be a string. It's going to have a name. That it's going to have a numeric value. We'll just do 0. It's going to have a color, which is also a string. So let's just make this list value and list value ID. Yeah, that looks good. Big brothers, well, hold on. Good morning, my man. I was just doom scrolling, came across you on here. What is the best way to get into coding, and how can that lead into the cyber world? Sorry if my question derails your focus. Oh no, yeah, not at all, man. I'm happy to chat while we hang out here. I still think the best way to get into coding is to go to Free Code Camp and follow their curriculum. I think they have a good curriculum to teach you the basics of some very simple languages. They'll teach you how to build websites, and then you can kind of figure out where you want to go from there. And then as far as how can that lead into the cyber world, I'm not really sure about the second half of your question. Do you mean just like how can learning to code help you get a job in technology? Is that what you're asking? Good morning, Rampla. How's it going? Been playing much Warframe lately? I haven't heard you talk about Warframe in a little bit. I hope you find it interesting. I feel like I've achieved a new level of appreciation for simplicity, which prompted the post. Oh, fantastic. I will happily give it a read. Yeah, I'm all about simple is often best, especially in our world today. Hey, chatters, he just locked in on a new project. Give him time to respond. Oh, no worries. I won't ignore you guys. I'll try not to ignore you guys. I would much rather prioritize chatting over coding. Jonathan, more or less. So my advice to people trying to break into a job in technology is to not be super picky about the job you want. I think the first thing is to get a foot in the door, and you can sort of then work your way into the ideal position. I think coding gives you. I think it takes a while to get good at coding. And with the state of the world right now, just being able to code is not often enough to just get in the door. It may have been enough, 5 years ago when boot camps were kind of churning people out left and right out of like 90-day programs, and people were really desperate to have just anybody who could, semi put syntax together. But now, given the state of the world, that doesn't feel like it's quite enough, or maybe more challenging than what it used to be. So I think the right approach now is to develop your skills, but don't be afraid to take a role that may seem like below you or not ideal for you. And then you can sort of work your way into the role that you actually want. I think the one thing coding does help you with is coding does give you an appreciation for the complexity and the difficulties that go into creating a lot of the products you work with every day. Like, how many times a day do you go to a login page and log in and you just take it for granted? And then if you sit down and try to build your own login page, all of a sudden you realize, oh, a lot of thought and attention and care went into making it work and making it work well. And that goes for just like everything in the tech sphere. I mean, that goes for everything in the world generally, right? So it just gives you a newfound appreciation, and then it also helps you understand what you're kind of getting into. Mishrahil, hello, Mishrahil. How are you? Rampla, busy with a court file, asking GPT for help keeps giving me random advice, confusing. Why are you asking Chat GPT about a court file? You should get a lawyer. Do I need to be good at math in order to be good at programming? I don't think so. I mean, there's definitely some areas of programming where being good at math is actually super important. Like, I feel like anything that has to do with machine learning these days, math helps a whole hell of a lot. Or if you're doing anything with data science, being good at math helps a lot. Um, but at the end of the day, most people aren't actually. If you're writing code, you're not doing your own calculations. 9 times out of 10, you're calling some well-built, well-tested implementation of a calculation, right? You're using some sort of library to do it. So maybe it helps for you to have like theoretical understanding. But I think if you're doing normal app development, I just don't think math is that terribly important. Maybe if you're doing machine learning, data science, graphics programming, maybe game programming, but I don't see it come up a lot in the areas that I spend my time in. Jonathan, appreciate the answer, man. Of course. Yeah, I don't know how helpful it was, but I'm always happy to share my thoughts. I'm just a random 32-year-old living in Kansas trying to raise his kids and get through this whole career thing. So take my thoughts for what they are, and maybe take them with a grain of salt. N equals 1 type of study. Good morning, Lorenz. Good to see you. David Bailey, the best coder I know often says, don't ask me what the customers want and don't ask me to do math. Tell me what you want done and I'll do it. I think that's the best place to be in as a programmer or developer, is just building against a specification. I think that's often what makes doing anything on your own a little bit more difficult, because sometimes it's difficult to come up with ideas and difficult to think about how something should work, you know? But yeah, I very much, that's like I say that all the time about building UIs. I'm very confident I can build good UIs, but oftentimes I'm much better at implementing a design that someone else has made than coming up with, my own design myself. For sure, for sure. Just setup of files, .pdf, etc. I used to use XP. Now Windows is confusing. Everything is subscription. This, that, PFF. Rather play Warframe. Yeah, you should go play Warframe. Yeah, I mean that sounds like a very easy case to make. Just go play Warframe. I was on a Discord server about Linux, and I shared my project with a guy, and he built it in 1 hour with AI and shared it on his GitHub. What an asshole. Oh, how I wish they would bring back Microsoft XP. LOL. Everyone loves XP, man. Everyone has fond memories of XP. My fondest memories of XP are, in my house, my dad was an IT guy growing up. He was actually the IT guy at my high school from like 1999 to 2000 and I don't know, he was there a long time. Before I was in high school and then through when I was in high school. But we were always a Mac household. Like our home computer was always a Mac household. But my friend, who I used to go over and stay the night at their house, had a Windows XP computer, and they had Ages of Empires and Ages of Mythology, and that was that was one of the best parts about going to his house to spend the night. Was like I would stay up till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning on their PC in their kitchen, just grinding at Ages of Empire or Age of Mythology. I love those games. What always happens in my experience is that someone in the org has problem X, and instead of just relaying the problem, they relay their own potential solution. This is valid, especially when you're dealing with engineers, particularly with anybody who's an engineer, right? And the solution is usually very, very overly complex. I heard being good at math equals you being a good problem solver. Math problems are abstract, whereas coding problems are concrete. What's your take on that? I haven't done enough probably high-level complex math, because like the highest math I took was calculus in college. So maybe I haven't done enough higher level math to really understand what this opinion is trying to say. I do think like learning to solve math makes you good at solving problems, but I don't think that that's the only way to get good at solving problems. I honestly think the scientific method is a really great tool for problem solving. But yeah, I don't think being good at math is the only proxy to being a good problem solver. It sounds trite, but I think solving problems is the best way to become a good problem solver. Good morning, Inspire. How was yesterday? Yesterday was good. Yeah, no complaints. I wrote a lot of Rust code yesterday. A lot of Rust code. It was good. Oof, coding problems concrete. Yeah. So that's actually kind of it, David. You kind of bring up an interesting point. The company I work for, a lot of the times we build in very abstract spaces. Like the thing we're meant to build is supposed to be so abstract that it can be generalized to a lot of domains. So it is kind of interesting. Not all problems are concrete. Also, Lawrence, going back to your experience on that Discord server, I find the project you built far more impressive than the guy who spun it up in an hour with AI. Like, it just means that he slopped something together, and it's not really impressive because you built it first. I mean, we know AI can copy. Like, that's not anything new or impressive. So I think it's shitty that someone did that, though. I don't know what they were trying to prove. Is this Golang? Yeah, it's Go. This is Golang. Over engineering equals job security. No, lack of documentation equals job security. Yo, it's been a while. It has been a while, 199. How have you been? Good to see you. Krabby is back in town. Krabby is. I've just kind of fallen in love with Rust a little bit. I've not necessarily the language, but I've kind of fallen in love with the performance. The speed of it is fucking incredible. Like building like CLI tools and stuff with it, it's nuts how fast it is. All right, man, about to head to work. You have a great day. Happy coding. See you, dude. Have a good day at work. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you asking questions. Good. Been busy working on stuff. Got an interview coming up for DevOps. Nice. Congratulations on the interview. We all know how difficult that can be. Yeah, that's what they tell you before spreading the PSYOP. Oh, it's the speed. It's the speed, man. It's the speed. It's so fast. It's the fastest. It's the fastest. Let's see the fee. This is not. This should be list endpoints. This should be list path. Yeah, list path. The company is a good and a known one too. Awesome, dude. Well, congratulations. You know, I know the job hunt process sucks, and so awesome to feel like you're making progress and actually making some stuff happen. So that's awesome. Congratulations. The thing is, it wasn't even a good copy. He just used ChatGPT in his code base instead of Spacey. Now everyone has to enter their API key, and he has no idea of his code base. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the experience. I mean, that's a bad feeling to me personally, Lorenz. But a lot of people are telling me they're okay with it, and I don't really have a good response either. Like, if people want to build projects without ever looking at the code, and they just are happy with the artifacts that they get, and they're fine judging their like, I don't have anything against it. It's not me. It's not what I would do. But if that's how people want to build stuff now because of the capabilities that AI offers, like, more power to you, I guess. You know, I just don't care for it. Zobtastic. Hey, quick question. I saw your short on the tab button. I've been using Visual Studio Code, and it creates so much for you with just the tab button, and you can ask it to build anything for you. What's with the, let's see, that with the addition of Copilot / ChatGPT, how much coding do you have to actually know when it can all be built at a click of a button? Yeah, I guess this is the ongoing conversation right now in the software engineering space, or just I think in tech in general, is just like, how much value is there in any of the existing programming code or knowledge. I think the problem is that if I don't know your backstory, Zobtastic, but if I had to guess, it sounds like you're relatively new to programming. And so the experience that you're having in Visual Studio Code is the experience I think a lot of people are having with like Claude Code. And they're just so blown away that it can help them do things that really are quite trivial. Like, it's not doing crazy stuff. Like, in a lot of cases, people are having it build static web pages or web pages with forms and a backend and maybe a database. Like, we're not talking about having these AI agents create crazy, obscure, or necessarily pushing the edge of their capabilities, right? Everything that they're generating is largely like well-worn path, and it's probably seen hundreds of thousands of examples of how to build these things. So I understand what you're saying, and I relate to the experiences that you're having. I myself still find value in it. Now that's, again, I don't know if that's going to be the way of the world, but I still find value in it. So I still enjoy doing it. I still like writing my code. I still like understanding my code, fussing over it, getting better at it. But I understand not everyone has those same values. Right now, just going over stuff at home for prep. Also need to find the projects I started with Python. Very cool, very cool. Grand Animalthon. I think using AI to build stuff was like using high-level languages. Yeah, I don't agree with that analogy. I've had several people tell me that that is an analogy, but I don't agree with it. Wait, so if everyone uses AI, don't the rich with the biggest computers always be right? Yeah, I mean, if you're dependent on AI, if you can only use AI to code, then you are dependent on whoever's providing you those tokens. You know, but I've had people tell me, but that's the same thing you do for your electricity, and that's the same thing you do for your gas, and like, I'm they're not wrong. It just seems it feels a little icky to me when it's my own intelligence. That my own intelligence has now become something I pay for on a meter. It doesn't feel as good. Also, I realize I'm ignoring Twitch. Sorry. Good morning, Oblivion. Let's see. AI doesn't search for the best solution, it just searches for the easiest for it to implement. Yeah. I think it does whatever is most common, right? I think if you look at these LLMs as like probability distributions, right? It does whatever is most common, whatever is most likely, whatever, based on the patterns it's seeing. Thanks for the follow over there on Twitch, Brain Dead Engineer. Appreciate you. Let's see. LLMs are trained on human languages. They don't really understand computer languages yet. Well, based on my experience, LLMs are pretty good at generating. They don't really, first off, LLMs don't really understand anything. They just know how to predict the next token in a sequence of tokens. But they're pretty good at in my experience, they're pretty good at predicting the next token, whether we're talking human or we're talking computer
Did we just become best friends?
language. OG Sama, appreciate the follow. Very kind of you. So I'm actually right this instant planning a project for it to hopefully one shot that has very little real world practice. I know of literally no user apps that implement my requirements. Of course, I already know my tech stack, my design decisions, and limitations will update on how it goes. That would be fascinating to hear. Although I would guarantee, based on how good of a programmer you are, Oblivion, I'm guessing your prompts are going to be pretty great, and it's probably going to do a pretty good job at one-shotting it. Cognitive decline, I feel the word is. There's been a big push for PL to ignore the in-between. Mr. E, hello. And skip to the end, and these Bitcorps push for that. Well, yeah, I mean, from the corporation perspective, all they care about is the thing that they can sell. So I understand. I mean, the thing is, like, I understand the world. I'm not naive. I'm not an idiot. Like, I'm 32. I've been working in the corporate world for 15 years now or more. Like, I understand the way the world works. And I'll do whatever's necessary to, like, continue to earn a paycheck and provide for my family. But it doesn't mean necessarily me as an individual have to agree with the state of the world. You know what I mean? I saw someone talking about that devs are in a unique situation regarding AI, where we are the first ones to get really hit by it in terms of job security, etc. Other jobs will have it worse in the future. I think that was a quite interesting take, since everyone seems to think that devs are the most exposed. Well, I think devs... I think developers are in an unfortunate situation where they just sort of... How do I say this without insulting a bunch of people here? Developers have basically been convinced to root for their own ouster, right? So, like, you don't see a lot of these other professions embracing tools that are then going to make them obsolete. And if that was the case, they would push back more. Like, if you tried to tell lawyers or doctors or accountants that you were going to replace them with some AI agent, there would be a lot more pushback. But developers have sort of been convinced to embrace the thing that might bring about their own downfall. And they've sort of been convinced that not only should they embrace it, but that they should promote it and that they should help advance it. It's kind of like one big Trojan horse in a lot of ways. But that's just my thought on it. At the time of assembly, when high-level language was firstly introduced, it was like all programs will die. I don't know. I wasn't there when high-level languages came about, so I have no idea if the existential dread was as high when the high-level languages were introduced as it is now. I doubt it was, but I wasn't there to be able to say. Mr. Yeah, I've used AI to vibe code a few things recently, and I think it's crazy at how good it is now. Sure, it's not perfect, but with good prompt engineering, working on bugs and improvements soon comes along. Yeah, I hope nobody here is arguing that AI isn't good enough to get stuff done or be productive with it. If you know what you're doing, you can definitely get stuff done. I think that conversation largely needs to go away. Like, there can always be conversations about, like, subjective quality of a solution, but, like, you can definitely get good output out of AI tools for sure. Oblivion teaser. I want to be able to communicate with different languages on Discord with multiple speakers at the same time. Let's just say this is a tough audio transcription translation display challenge. Interesting. Yeah, sounds like it could help a lot of people. Can't chat on Twitch until the timer is gone. It's crazy to see a full-size version of the stream. Yeah, the Twitch timer I think is 10 minutes. I should be dead. Good to see you though. Let's see. To be honest, when AI came out, he was one I saw that would be hit most are those that just fill in Excel sheets all day. Yeah, but honestly, that's not been. I don't think that's largely been disrupted. Zahir. Hi, Steven. How are you? It's been a long time. I'm doing good. Good to see you, Zahir. Yeah, it's been a minute. Grand Admiral Thrawn, CS degrees are dead. Oh, that's a pretty bold prediction. That's a pretty bold prediction. Developers have very competitive egos. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Developers, it's not. I don't see developers having very competitive egos. The perception I get from a lot of developers I interact with is that they have very fragile egos. Not necessarily competitive, but fragile. And maybe that's just I'm interacting with a particular kind of developer a lot of times, but yeah. I don't think I've interacted with many developers who are nearly as competitive as some of the people I experienced when playing sports. I'm not really sure about that. I feel like we have pushed back a lot, but leadership pushes it due to profits. I would assume this would be the exact same in any other industry. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, Thobison. I don't feel like the pushback has been there. I feel like developers have kind of wholesale, and a lot of companies have gotten smart. A lot of the companies who are producing these AI tools, they've gotten smart in the sense that now they're putting out their own developers as the marketers of the products, right? So they're basically creating influencers, like for example, putting Boris Cherny front and center to promote Cloud Code is like gangster marketer move, right? Because it gives authority and credence to this agentic programming movement because you have an actual programmer and developer and a relatively accomplished one speaking about it. Let's see, test projects. When coding through AI, I'm finding are even more important. Once some code is working and tested, only have AI then break it, but wouldn't had been identified until sometime later. This makes sense to me. Good morning, King Brownie. Morning, all. I demonstrated my apps to someone. He didn't think that they were vibe coded because of how advanced they were. I said it's about planning and thought and working on bits at a time, etc. Nice, nice. I think the reason other industries haven't been disrupted might literally just be because they move a lot slower than the software industry. I, I mean, I think a lot of the industries just how do I put this in the nicest way possible? Because I don't want to alienate the technology or developer community at all. I think there's a lot of people who work in technology who don't really care for the technology. You know, a lot of people in other, I think in some other professions actually enjoy their job. You know, I don't know. I think I don't know. It's all a spectrum, right? There's going to be people in every profession that hate their job, and the other people who like their job and care a lot about their craft. And then there's people who don't. Yeah, I don't know. I have feelings. I'm not sure they're the kindest though to share. Maybe I'm just talking for my competitive ass. Well, I welcome the competition, or not necessarily competition with me, but I welcome the competitiveness. Competitiveness I think is a good thing. Damn, Steven one-upping my statement. Caleb, now it's in Go. We are trying to work on building something in Go. Yeah. Every time I've learned a new language, I've tried to implement an SDK for my company's API in it, because my company only has an SDK in C#. So as I've been learning new languages, I've been trying to add an SDK for each of the languages. He said, I think a lot of the industry is just, how do I put it, cooked. Let's see, I played around with Anthropic's Opus 4.6, and not gonna lie, if you know what you're doing and you tell it to do a specific thing in a way you want to do it, it works 90-ish% of the time. Yeah, I mean, again, this argument of like, can AI do things, I think is largely mute at this point. I think you can probably still have a debate about whether or not AI is good enough to replace any given profession. But if you give AI to somebody who knows what they're doing, just like you said, or has the vocabulary to tell the AI what you want, then you can get pretty far. Because remember, like I just to ground everybody, we're not talking about actual intelligence here. We're talking about something that's good at predicting the next token. And so if you develop the ability to figure out what the right inputs are to give you the highest probability to get the output that you want or is most useful to you out of the thing, right? You can get really far. I don't think that anybody should be like arguing that that's not the case anymore. That is definitely the case. I think for me, the AI discussion now centers around much more around like, do I want to work with or use AI? That's for me. That's where the discussion centers around. You're being too nice, Steven. Hell, even I know artists that hate their job but feel like it's their only skill. IT in general definitely resonates with that. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't survive being a streamer for 1 week. You'd be fine. I'm not particularly good at it, so you would be just fine. Accounting still have 1 million job openings in the U.S. Of course they do, because accountants need perfection, right? Like close enough in accounting isn't a thing, and accountants have a huge lobbying force. Like, there's no way accountants are going to lay down and let AI take their job. That's just not going to happen. See ya, Escaros. Happy ADHD-ing.
I like to say something.
Brr, 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 brr. Really nice stream.
Thank you. The most boring job on the planet can still not be taken by AI. Yeah. I mean, it still goes back block. That's what I was saying yesterday about AI, is that if these companies really did have artificial intelligence that could actually replace people, or they could use the AI to build software that could replace people, they wouldn't be selling you that shovel. They would just use the shovel themselves. I still don't. OpenClaw was fully vibe coded. I heard that, but I also heard OpenClaw had some issues, maybe around security and whatnot. Caleb, forget about AI. What you building today? So I'm working on this. This is a project I started 2 or 3 months ago, and then I stalled, and so I'm coming back around to try to finish it up. It is an SDK, or like some people call them bindings, but basically the company I work for, we have a public API. And this public API has an official C# SDK. So basically, just like any public API you interact with, you want a client and a set of methods to interact with it in your language, your native language. And so as I've been learning languages, I've been adding community versions of the SDK. And I have a JavaScript one and a Python one that I built. And so I added a Rust one yesterday. I finished a Rust one yesterday, and I've been working on this Go one. And I'm trying to wrap that up now. So that's what I'm doing. Nothing fancy, just translating a API specification into a language, a native language. Finally, I can chat on Twitch. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being on Twitch. We're now programming our code instead of coding for our programming, if that makes sense. Well, I said that yesterday on Blue Sky. Like, I'm actually very interested in building agentic tools. I'm not very interested in using agentic tools, if that makes sense. So I find the harness and context engineering interesting, but I don't actually want to sit and talk to an LLM all day. I think once you start using AI, it becomes hard to not use it. Can make you a little lazy in coding, but busy in reviewing and planning. So this is a little lazy in coding is the thing I hate about it, and that's largely the reason I'm not using it anymore, because I don't like the fact that I feel lazy. Like it shouldn't. I shouldn't have to like work myself up to sit down and author some code, right? Like I shouldn't have this big resistance to doing it because I know that AI can do it. And I don't like that feeling. Someone like yourself who knows the code well will prompt better than someone who doesn't know the code. Completely agree. Yeah, completely agree. I think that goes for using AI in any domain. David, accountants won't, but their bosses will when they see the money. It can't be fully AI'd, but accountants can definitely move to a reviewer role. So this is where accountants, though, David, accountants are smarter than developers because in most cases, accountants are the ones running the businesses. So this is where doctors. So dentists and accountants figured this out. Doctors screwed it up, and lawyers also figured it out. So dentists, accountants, and lawyers figured it out that if they wanted ultimate control of their profession, they needed to also be in control of the businesses. So that's why that's why you have a lot of independent law firms, you have a lot of independent dentists, a lot of independent accountant firms. Doctors, unfortunately, did not figure this out. And so that's why now you have a lot of doctors no longer in private practice running their own businesses. They've all been swallowed up by big hospital systems. So I think that's where developers sort of are that's why developers are sort of at the behest of industry, is because developers just want to build things and they don't want to run businesses. And so then they end up being at the whims of the businesses that employ them to do the work that they want to do. It's unfortunate. By the way, got myself a new coffee mug, about 32 ounce. Dude, that's a big ass coffee mug. How can you even hold that? You gotta hold it with two hands. To be fair, AI unlocks great app experiences which were not possible before, but this entire AI will replace us all agenda is just being pushed by the corporate overlords. I'm right there with you, viable subtlety. I'm right there with you, man.
Did we just become best friends?
Shockwave, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Hackers are very happy that so much is vibe coded because of prompt injection. Yeah, there was actually a good example of that prompt injection recently. GitHub, there was a GitHub repository that got prompt injected. GitHub repo. Let me see if I can find it. And the way it worked was they actually used like a code review. I think it was a code review a code review tool that was in one of their GitHub actions. See if I can find it. GitHub repo hacked via prompt injection. Man, I need to do a better job of saving this stuff so when I want to reference it on stream. Can't find it. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a thing. But it was kind of interesting to me because it wasn't really code. It was actually part of the CI/CD pipeline. That was where the vulnerability was. Damn, I can't find it. I saw Low Level's video on it today. Low Level, so he made one? Agreed, but if you can get your tax return much cheaper at A, why go to B? Specialist positions hold, but there's downside to that decentralized industry base as well. Yeah, I don't think so. David, the problem is that accountants work together. So they as an industry are not going to drive down their prices, you know what I mean? They're not going to undercut each other. Like, they're just, accountants are just going to look at each other and be like, okay, so you're going to charge $150. Okay, cool. How do you feel about me charging like $130? Oh, you're cool with that? Okay, I'll charge $130. Like, they're not going to devalue that's where like some of the professions are better, because they're more organized, they're more cohesive, they have lobbying power, they have industry groups, they have membership. Like developers and software engineering, like there's none of that. There's really not good coordination or partnership. Like that's where these other professions have kind of figured it out. Maybe we could do what lawyers and accountants did and get OpenClaw to run the business, so we can just build and maintain professional security. We could do that. Nah, I got big hands. I can hold it with just one. Nice. Let's see. Vibe coding seems super hit or miss. Just had to fix a file that I vibe coded, and it ended up being half the size after I removed the slot finally. Runs now too. Well, we vibe coded a little bit yesterday with the Primogens plugin 99. And I had the same experience where a lot of the code looked right, and then when I started looking at it really closely, I found like huge sections of it that were just hallucinated and completely wrong. So yeah, it's an experience, man. It's an experience. Poison security, backdooring light LLM. Okay, so I don't think I heard of this one. This one's new to me. I don't think this is the one I saw, but this looks interesting. %, there with you. Good morning, Brian. Good to see you. Which language are you coding right now? I'm using Golang. This is going to be a Go SDK for the OnSpring API, which is OnSpring is the company I work for. Nothing I do on stream is representative of my employer or their opinions, so all disclaimers there. It's just one of the things I've tried to do is help support my company's public API by building community SDKs so that developers who write in languages other than C# have a good experience. Someone used the stupid pull request action event PRs, which then leaked the repo secret. Oh, that's terrible. Pull request target, I think it is, instead of pull request, which allowed it to steal the tokens. Oh, that's terrible. What are your thoughts on Aspire? Do you think that the industry might adopt that soon? So I love Aspire, Brian. I am in love with Aspire. I am currently having an affair with Aspire. I think it has to be one of the better pieces of technology that has been introduced into the developer kind of tools ecosystem. The only problem with the adoption of it, Brian, from an industry's perspective, is the fact that it is from Microsoft. That's the one thing that can hold it back. I thought it was really smart. Originally they were referring to it as .NET Aspire was originally how they had the branding everywhere. And then at some point, either last year or maybe a year and a half ago, they dropped it, which I thought was the right move. And now they're trying to focus it more to be like polyglot in nature, which I think is, again, awesome. And I actually made a video showing how I used it to orchestrate a Go backend with a React front end, for both for orchestration and for testing, for end-to-end testing. So I'm totally sold on it, and I will evangelize it to anybody who will listen to me. I just think the one thing that could hold it back is the fact that it does have the Microsoft association, and a lot of people seem to have big feelings about Microsoft. Steven's wife about to go ballistic. I'll say it. Your stream is a nice fresh start on the morning. Well, thanks, man. I'm glad you found it, and I appreciate you saying such thing. I don't know if it's a good stream, but it is my stream, or it's our stream. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. Let's see that, because a lot of big companies use light LLM. Okay, let's give it a link. Where's the link? Let's give it a read. Where's the link here? Give it a link. Thinks. Let's see. Where was I? I mean, when they presented on the .conf, they even did on a Mac with the Django API alongside the .NET API. Yeah, it's great. And they actually just introduced in the most recent release. This is even cooler. And I bet in the next release they'll probably do Python. But now you can define your app host in a TypeScript file. So let me see if I can find it. So now you can just, so basically, so this was the original app host, and you had to do it in C#. But in the latest release of Aspire, now you can do it in TypeScript. So this is the same idea, right? You're basically defining the shape of your distributed app in code, but now you can do it in TypeScript, which is just baller, right? And I'm guessing before long we're going to see a Python app host. It may be a Go app host. Like I guarantee they will continue to try to expand this over time and make it more and more polyglot in nature, which I think is awesome. I'm just worried they might drop that because of lack of adoption. I know MS is not Google regarding that, but still, yeah, it'll all depend on adoption. I'm going to do everything I can to help try to be a supporter and an evangelist for it. And hopefully other people will see the value in it. I mean, the thing is, if you've ever taken the time to write a Docker, if you've ever sitting down and wrote in a compose.dev.yaml file to like coordinate a bunch of Docker containers as external services to support your front end and your back end application that you're running locally so that you can develop on it and test on it. If you've done that, then you should go and try to do it with Aspire. And if you do it with Aspire, you're going to be like, wow, that was a much better experience. So hopefully it'll make it more compelling to folks over time. Good morning, Kale. Good to see you. Is Aspire a replacement for backend engineers for solo projects? What role does it replace for solo devs? So it may not be super helpful if you're building something that's monolithic as a solo developer, but the whole point of Aspire is basically being able to model a distributed application in code and then be able to orchestrate it locally in sort of a single shot, right? So you don't have to like, oh, let me run this Docker container. Oh, let me set this secret. Let me make sure this environment variable is like, instead of having to do all this kind of like duct taping together of things, you can have it all defined in code and you can just boot up your app, shut down your app, right? It's very similar to the experience you get from Docker Compose once you have everything set up correctly. The benefit is that you're modeling things in code instead of YAML, which means you can do code-like things in your orchestration, which is really nice. And then you can check it in, and theoretically, you can just clone the repo, do Aspire run, and everything should work. That's kind of the magic of it all. Sounds like a more modern version of Portainer. I may switch to Aspire. It's not really Portainer, because Portainer is just meant to be able to manage like your containers that are running on a machine. Aspire is like, it's really local dev orchestration. That's the best way I put it. They are working on improving their support for deployments. But yeah, for me, the biggest value add is like if you have a separate front end, a separate back end, and a separate database, Aspire is a worthwhile addition to your local development setup because it makes life easier. Does it run as a container or is it its own orchestration tool? Yeah, it's its own orchestration tool. So you'll mostly interact with it through the CLI. So they have their own Aspire CLI, and that's what you'll mostly interact with it through. So you'll have the Aspire CLI, and then you'll have your normal application, and then you'll have something called an app host. And that app host is where you'll define your distributed application. So that's where when we were looking at that code earlier, we can find it. This is where in your app host file, this is where you'll define what your application looks like. So in this case, in this little code snippet, this application has a database. This application has an API. This application has a front end that's a V app. And then we're declaring dependencies or relationships between these things. So the API has a reference to Postgres or the database. And the front end has a reference to the API right here. And so now what you'll do once you have this all modeled in code, which you can do in C# or you can do in TypeScript now, either one, you can point the Aspire CLI at the app host file and you can say Aspire run. And this code right here will take care of booting everything up. So you know how classically, if you were developing an application like this locally, you would have like multiple terminals running. You do like npm run dev in your front end, and that's maybe one terminal. And then you have npm run dev in your API folder, and that's another terminal. And then you got to go over to somewhere and spin up your Postgres database in a Docker container, right? And so you've got these 3 terminal windows, and you got to remember to shut one down and restart it and all this kind of stuff, and run all these different commands. Versus with Aspire, you just define it in code once and then say Aspire run, and it does it all. It also has a really kick-ass dashboard that you can use locally. I can actually show you. I'm trying to talk to all this, and I could just show you it. It's just, let me go to repositories. Now this has turned into an Aspire commercial. But that's okay. I don't mind. How Aspire would work on a CI pipeline. So you can use Aspire to do stuff like testing in a CI pipeline. And you can use Aspire right now to do deployment to Azure. And it will also you can also use Aspire to generate Docker Compose files for deployment if you want. But really, you don't have to use Aspire for deployment. You could just use Aspire for local dev orchestration if you already have a deployment pipeline or a CID pipeline that you're happy with, CI/CD pipeline that you're happy with. But if you wanted to use Aspire to do like testing as part of your CI/CD pipeline, you could do that. You could spin it all up. But let me show you this example application I have. So in this example application, I have 3 projects. I have an app host project, which is where I'm defining all the
Did we just become best friends?
application specific stuff. TOE, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate you. So again, this is another simple application. It has a single database, it has a single backend, and it has a single front end. And the front end is a Vite app, and the backend is a Go app or Go API. So very simple application, but it's all defined here. All the port environment variables are configured here. If you had other environment variables you want to configure, you could define those here as well. You can actually even like load in, like, it's code, so you can really do anything you want because you're writing C# code, right? So it's flexible. and super extensible. And then the nice thing about this is now, if I go to my other terminal, I can just run this application in a single command. So if I go to Aspire indent testing, and I just do Aspire run, it's going to use the app host to figure out what it needs to do to get my application up and running. And then once it's up and running, it's going to give me a dashboard where I can see my application in one view. Oh, sorry, I don't have Docker running. My bad. Let me try again. I always turn Docker off because it's such a resource hog. Oh, nice, dude. I'm glad you got your monitor. That's exciting stuff. Can you take its configs to AWS or a cloud service when they're ready for prod? Yes, you can. So there is an AWS. What do they call it? There's a term for it. One sec. So yeah, so now you can see my application's booting up. Postgres is starting. The API will start up, and then the web will start up. And then this dashboard supports OpenTelemetry. So if you instrument your code, you can actually see traces in here. You can see logs in here as well, which is really nice. So then it's all running. We can go to the web project. We can add a to-do, tell chat about Aspire. Uh-oh, it's not working. I broke something. Huh. Classic demo. Classic demo. What was the question you were asking? Oh, about what language does it use to do scripting? It uses C#, and they just added support for TypeScript. But hopefully in the future they'll have support for other languages. But you can define it in C# or you can define it in TypeScript. You were asking, someone was asking about AWS support. So there is an integration, I believe. Let's see, cloud providers. Yeah, AWS and Azure. So the Azure one is one that they built. And then there is an AWS one, and I'm pretty sure that is something Amazon has built. So yeah, the idea is, I can't remember what they call them though. It's not like, it's basically translating the configuration that you have in your app host to whatever Aspire or whatever Azure or AWS needs to actually build out your distributed application. But yeah, this is something that I think they're working a lot on to try to improve, is their support for different cloud providers. They do have a integration for Docker. So you can actually have it, where's it, Docker integration? So you can actually have it produce, based on your configurations, you can have it produce a Docker Compose file for you, which is pretty cool. So you can do Aspire publish, and it will generate a Docker Compose file from the app host. It'll generate any .env file with whatever values you need to disk, and then you can take that and use that for your deployment if you want. And then obviously they've wired up a deploy command that does it all for you in one step. So it's very cool. It's a big project. There's a lot to it. I'm definitely not an expert on it, but I've been trying to use it more and more in applications where it makes sense for me, and I'm sold. I'm sold on it. Now we just got to make sure it doesn't die. I wonder why this isn't working. .501 not implemented. Failed to execute JSON on response. Huh. Am I on the wrong branch, maybe? Hmm. It's weird. I mean, that's not really the point of today's stream, but now I can't help but wonder why it's not working. Did I shut it down? Maybe I shut it down. It looks really good, specifically on CD and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm a fan. I will happily evangelize for it. Is it really almost 7 o'clock? Dang, man, these mornings go by fast every day. Okay, what's happening? Something funky's going on. I can't get it to work. You tried Warframe? I have not tried Warframe. Alias Asper to Aspire. I don't know what's wrong with it. Ain't got enough go-tos in it. Yeah, no worries. Do you have a video for setting up the terminal the same way as yours? I do not have a video, but there is a video out there you can follow because I largely stole a lot of my setup from Scott Hanselman. And Scott Hanselman has like an hour-long video where he takes you through setting up a kick-ass terminal. It's a little dated now. He probably needs to make an updated one. I should actually make my own version, but I always point people towards his because that's where I got mine from. So who was that asked that? Brian. It was Brian, right? Brian. Brian. I'll link to that video. He takes you from like fresh Windows terminal look to like a awesome killer looking Windows terminal. Chiller game. I make Unity project now. Go for it, dude. Make it auto. Hi, Steve. I just completed Django. Any project ideas to level up? I'm not super good at coming up with ideas for projects. Almost all the ideas I have for projects are problems that I have myself or that I know about from like work related stuff. So you could, one of two options make it auto is you could ask Gemini or your favorite LLM of choice to ideate with you, or think of some problems that you, your family, your friends, people at your business or your job have, and try to think about how you would build software that would solve that problem. That's my best advice for project ideas. Make the game engine? No, don't build a game. Just build your own game engine. Those are completely different experiences. Yeah, I love that. Brain dead engineer, I love that advice. I love it. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm nerd sniped on why this doesn't work. I literally made a video where I was demoing this. Is the environment variable maybe not getting injected properly? Let's see, vconfig. Rewrite path. Yep, remove the API. Services API HTTP. That should be right. 8080. Is that port right? I don't know if that port right's. Let's see. Properties. Yeah, it looks right. Huh. It's so weird. We were going to read this article, and now I've gotten completely distracted by the fact that my demo application doesn't do what I think it should do. And then for whatever reason, this doesn't seem to be wanting to load. Okay. I don't understand what's happening. I got it from the Primogen. Well, the Primogen is a wise man. He is a wise, funny man. Make games, not technology. Yeah, there's a place for everyone, you know? Hi, Steven. I just studied Django. Any beginner-friendly project ideas to level up? I don't make it auto. I don't know if you were here when we were talking about that. I don't. I like what Brain Dead Engineer said over on Twitch. His advice was nobody will ever be able to give you an idea for a project. Find something you like and make it. Find a tool you like, rebuild it. You have to figure it out on your own. I like that advice. I also like using LLMs to rubber duck with, to ideate on stuff with. I also, most of the things I build are about solving problems that I have or I know people have either in my personal life or my professional life. So that would be my advice to you, is try to look around and see where there's friction or see where there's pain points and think about, is there a piece of software I could build that would alleviate or completely remove this pain point? That would be my advice. Did you ever get attacked on your computer, hacker stuff, and did you catch them? No, I don't think I've never been knowingly attacked. It's possible that I've been attacked and hacked and I didn't know about it, and I still don't know about it. But at this point, that's not happened to me. Okay, cool, thanks. Yeah, I wish I had better advice. I don't have any. I think the projects that are worth your time building are projects that are novel and interesting to you, right? Like, sure, it's always helpful to go build like a URL shortener just to understand like the basics of like, how do you create a front end that can pass data to a back end, and how can that back end persist data into a database, right? Like, sometimes building those types of projects are nice when you're early on to get your feet underneath you. But at some point, it's much more satisfying to build a piece of software that solves a problem. And so then you get two things. You get the learning of building the thing, but you also get the actual useful piece thing that actually helps you every day. Yeah, it's just more interesting that way. I'm not going to be able to give up on this until ooh, that's new. Pretty. I really want to figure out why this doesn't work. Because I had other plans for this demo application. Okay, let's look at Postgres. Postgres is healthy. The logs look fine. The API, let's see. Let's do 8080. All right, let's try to run this outside the Aspire harness. Whoops. CD demo. Was it go run? Or I don't remember how to run a project and go dash help. Go build. I thought there was like a go run. Am I just, yeah, run and compile program. Okay. Go run. There we go. See, environment variable demo URI is not set. Okay. Demo URI. Where does that come from? Oh, that's for the database. Okay. Well, let's just okay, so let's not do this. This is a bad idea. You had 3 minutes of ads? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Thank you for watching them, though. Thank you for watching the ads. Let's see, API. Does this have any logs? Let's see, logs. Okay. Substitution is not possible for environment variable demo password. Substitution not possible for environment. Oh, do I not have? I don't think I have all the right. I'm missing something. Hold on, let me get my other laptop real quick. I took my laptop upstairs. Some ads are social experiments to see how long you can tolerate them. That's pretty dark. Demo URI. Where? Environment variable connection URI EMV is not set. Failed to open database. So something's not right. Something's not up to date here with this application based on what I showed in my video. What have I done, man? What have I done? Aspire. End-to-end testing. You guys talking about building a game? Shit, 7 o'clock. I'm gonna look at my own video to see how I had this working.
Build success.
There's always tomorrow morning you'll get it. Yeah, it's so stupid because it shouldn't be this difficult. I built this thing. I think it's an environment variable that I screwed up. Yeah, demo URI is the environment variable that's not being set, but I don't know where I was trying to set that from. I think I can set it from the app host. It's just the connection string. So I'm pretty sure I can do with environment, and I can say this is demo URI, and then I can say Postgres DB dot get dot connection. I should be able to get the connection string from this thing. How do I do that?
MRK_man and Sala is reminding you to hydrate.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Good to see you, Mark. Hope you're doing well. Good morning. See you, Brain Dead Engineer. Thanks for hanging out. Your code environment looks premium. Ah, thank you. I don't know if it's premium, though. It's mine, though. I never know if things are good. I just know they're mine. Let's see. Demo URI. Yes. And then we append the SSL. Let's try to run again. See what happens.
Did we just become best friends?
Mateo, thanks for subbing, man. I appreciate it. Why is it taking so long? I kind of feel like I screwed this up. Database from demo. Get the connection string. Oops. Okay, so something's wrong there. Do my test still pass? Let's do Aspire. .NET test. This will be interesting if my tests still pass. Warning, our process cannot be demo. What? NeoVim is greater than VS Code. I don't know. I like NeoVim. I do. And I like VS Code. I like both of them. VS Code and NeoVim. I've had a lot of fun on my NeoVim side quest though. Try again here. Hi, new subscriber here. I just saw your self-hosted Convex video and loved it. Super excited about Convex and your content. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say. I love Convex as well. Big fan. Big fan of those guys and what they're building and that product. It's wonderful. It is a wonderful. Mark, can we import themes from VS Code to NeoVim? I don't know if you can import them, but there are a lot of theme plugins that you can install to bring additional themes into NeoVim, which are pretty cool. All right, those all passed. Interesting. Okay, very interesting. So let's do code. So how can the test pass, but the application doesn't work manually? So something is, I've really foobarred this. Let's see. Let's go to the two-page task. Let's set a breakpoint here. Yeah, let's just set a breakpoint here. Do a new NeoVim video, like a remaster of your setup. I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Okay, you can skip that comment of mine, LOL. I forgot we're on a family-friendly channel. What? What did you say? Yeah, I'm getting life banned. Some bitches only thing missing. I mean, I feel. I mean, if you need some companionship in your life, I understand. Let's see. Test run window aborted. Why did you do that? Debug test. Okay, we're spinning up. It's good. Working with tiny little windows here. Demo created successfully. We got the database. Looks everyone's happy. We're going to step over. Step over. Okay, so it is working in my test. So it's actually talking to the database and everything, which is good. I wonder why that works though. So it does work. So my end-to-end test works, but I have no idea why my normal manual that is so weird. That is so weird, dude. All right, let's just make sure I haven't been like completely gaslighting myself this whole time. You just need to hire another 5,999 devs to make GTA 7. Will we ever see GTA 7? I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. I mean, based on what everybody says about AI, it should be trivial to build GTA, right? Should just be a trivial thing. Okay, no, I'm not gaslighting myself. This is really not working. We're getting a 501 not implemented. .501 not implemented. Should be able to do HTTP localhost 8080 And this should be to-dos. 501. Log fatal. Server starting on port 8080. Let's see, console log. Man, I'm spending way too much time diagnosing this. Substitution not possible for environment variable demo password. I don't know what this means. Was the environment variable? View details. Okay, so it's definitely connecting to the database. That's the thing. That I thought maybe it wasn't connecting to the database, but it's definitely doing that properly. Substitution is not possible. So why is it not possible? View details. It's interesting. It says it's not possible, but I see it right there. I see it there. Now the question is, are we proxying to the right place on the front end? So services API, is that an actual environment variable? Let's see. It is HTTP, yep, that's the right one. Localhost 8080. Okay. So why am I getting a 501 back? That's the question. Why am I getting a 501 not implemented? There's post to-dos. We have a get to-dos right here. Okay. Let's try again. I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm so frustrated. Show the code. This is the code. I mean, this is the, there is no, like, there's nothing obviously wrong. That's the thing. There's not like I can't show you exactly what's happening. Try 6-7. The elusive time to button. Yeah. I mean, it's so weird that it works in the test all pass, but when I try to start the application manually, it doesn't work. That's what I can't figure out. And it doesn't make any sense. I can see the APIs connected to the database. I can see the database running. I can see the front ends up and running. I don't know, man. I might have to give up on this one because I'm feeling very frustrated by it. I might need to step away. It's frustrating because I haven't changed anything since I made this video. Didn't change code, but it doesn't work next. Relatable. It is. I don't know. Is logging is not an option? Yeah, I don't. But the thing is, I have plenty of logging, and the logging all looks fine. It's literally just, for whatever reason, my API responds with not implemented. But I don't know why it responds that way. That, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Here's what I'm gonna do though. Here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so is Aspire running? Yeah, Aspire's running. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little hacky hack. So we're gonna go here, view details. We're gonna take this value. We're gonna copy it. We're gonna replace this call with a hard-coded string. Since last reading it, the file. Do you really want to know? Well, just reload it. What are we doing? What are we doing, folks? Okay. So we hard-coded that. Then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to open up a new terminal. I'm going to do cd into this guy. We're going to cd into source demo backend. We're going to do go run main. We allow. Okay. Oh, okay. So the fact that it started on that port makes me think. Localhost 8080 to-dos. Okay. So something is going on with the API. Whenever it starts through Aspire, it's not actually starting. That's basically what's happening. It's not actually bound to the port. So it wasn't a me thing. That is very annoying. Yeah. See, there's nothing bound to this port anymore. So, how do I fix that? Prevent Go from prevent Go on Windows from asking for permission. Let's see. Go bind to port without permission. Basically, what I'm trying to do is whenever I do go run main.go, I do not want my machine to no connection be made because the target machine actively refused it. Oh, that's because there's no database anymore. Get stash. Get stash. Drop 0. I'm not frustrated at all. I'm totally not frustrated. So I think there's a way I can specify this without to avoid, let's see. You can make Windows firewall rules. I thought there was a way you could specify whenever you're saying listen and serve. I thought there was a way that you could give it something other than this that would avoid. Let's do what you said. Let's add a firewall rule. Let's see what happens. Net display. Yeah, let's just say dev API port. Oh, I'm gonna need to run that in a terminal. Excuse my emoji, Sir Steven. No, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine. I'm not trying to ignore you guys. I got frustrated that I can't figure out why this is doing what it's doing, and so then I kind of locked in here for a second. Okay. So now let's try to run this again. What doesn't make sense is why does it work? Yep, starting process, server starting on port. Oh shit. So why is the server starting on that port? I think I figured it out. It's not actually running on port 8080. It's running on port, what is it? It's running on port 49998. Right? Alright, I'm literally about ready to lose my mind.
Did we just become best friends?
How do you say that? Biercianu? Thanks for the follow, man. Are you setting port too far down the code? No, I don't think it's an issue with my code. Famous last words, right? It can't be me. See, because this says that Aspire's running, but it is not responding on that port. It says it's running, but it is not responding. So there's definitely something odd going on. And I don't know what it is, but there's something... I don't know if it's my machine. Or what? But something is definitely wrong. Oh no, you're not. Yeah, you're fine. What issue is going on? I got this stupid little demo application that works when I run my end-to-end test, but it doesn't work when I run the tests, when I run the applications manually, and I've kind of gotten nerd sniped by that fact, and I'm trying to figure out why that is. Okay, now it says it's up. Okay. So if we look at the logs here, we can see server starting on port 62269. So why did it start on that port? That's the question. I don't know why it started on that port. Okay, that's what you'd expect. To-dos. That's what you'd expect. Now, why then does my front end... See, view details. See, my front end still has this as localhost 8080. which is what I would expect. So I wonder... Right, and we're also setting it here. So I wonder why that environment variable... Okay, let's see if
Did we just
it's
become best friends?
actually... Thank you for the follow, man. That's super nice of you. I think you just followed on Twitch and subbed on YouTube. That's super, super kind. So let's do log.println port. env port is... And let's just stop it and rerun it. That's super weird. No wonder this has not been working. It all makes sense now. I don't know. I wonder if there's a port conflict. See, it says it's on port 8080, but it's really not. Do you want to allow public and private networks to access this app? Yes, allow. View details. Shit. Console log. env port is 61013. Server starting on port 61013. So for whatever reason, it's not reading. Huh. That's so weird. I'm so confused. I wonder if I also have to, maybe I have to also set it here with environment port 8080. Oh. So why, I wonder why this was working before. I have no idea. It worked before and now it doesn't. I don't know what changed. Let's see if that fixes it. Okay, so the database starts up, and the API starts up. It declares itself as 8080. When we view the console logs, server is still starting on point 4963.
Did we just become best friends?
FL Ha? Hello, hello? I wonder if the port injection is new. Right? So I wonder if I do this. What if I do this? What if I do Remove that. Remove that. Set this to, so if port, don't do this, basically. Just say if port equals an empty string. Why don't we just say log.fatal this is so silly that I've spent this much time on the demo application. Environment variable is not set. I'm going to say environment variable port is not set. Environment variable port is not set. Okay. Close it. Fix this, make no mistakes, let it marinate until it's worth $1 million. Make no mistakes, make it super secure. Okay, so that failed. And I'm guessing it's going to say it failed because the port wasn't set. Oops. Environment variable port is not set. What the fuck? Hold on. Bro. Okay, it has an HTTP endpoint. Exposes an HTTP endpoint on a resource. Okay. Port 80. ENB support. Right? Okay. So let's clean it too. Let's do .NET clean. So .NET. What was it? Spire, sorry. Spire room. Oh my god, 745. Holy shit. I gotta set this down. I can't believe this thing beat me today. I feel like such a failure. How did this thing best me? How do you make your PowerShell look cool like that? Is that Vim or something? So my PowerShell is using let's see, my PowerShell is using Oh My Posh. So now there is a port variable, but it's not the port variable we want. Okay, screw you guys. I'm just gonna hard code this thing. For whatever reason, there's a mixed match of expectation here. I'm just gonna force this. Oh. 80. Take that, suckers. It's Oh My Posh. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Oh My Posh is how I do it. Brishan Naradu. Let me link it to the repo. Let's see. There you go. ohmyposh.dev. If you're talking about the prompt here, this is Oh My Posh, and then if you're talking about the editor, this is NeoVim, and in which case you can also find my NeoVim configurations there if you're curious. Okay, it still didn't work. I hard-coded the port, and it still did not work. It still started up on a random port. That makes no sense. It makes me think we're not using my code, doesn't it? That makes no logical sense whatsoever. What? So there's no logs here? Nice. Okay. Great. Wonderful. That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. How does something start on a? How does a Go application start on a port when the port is hard coded and specified right here? Do you guys think I'm in the right directory? Yeah, I'm in the right. I'm in the right directory. That doesn't make any sense. Is there some sort of cache or something that? Or did I never restart? Maybe I didn't restart it. Let's just, maybe it was me. Maybe it's user error. There we go. Okay, maybe it was user error. Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That that was the worst 45 minutes of my life. Okay, so there's some sort of weird port confliction, and I don't know what it is, but it's not adhering to what I think it should adhere to. Hello, how are you? What are you working on now? Nothing really exciting. I've been fucking around with this stupid demo application, and it's had me all kinds of fucked up this morning. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. It's just one of those things. Don't talk to me about it. Let's see. You want to go to... See, the thing is, this should... Makes me wonder if there's like a bug somewhere or something, because it doesn't make sense that when I set the port here, an optional name of the environment variable to inject. Yes, I want to inject 8080 for the port. right? And then when we do the back end, we should be able to do what we were doing, which was we were doing, what was it? os.get env, and we were saying get the port variable, and then we were saying if the port variable is not set, then we'll default it to 8080, right? But for some reason, this doesn't want to work. And I don't know why. I don't feel like it's a bug in my code, though. Because I feel like my code is how you're supposed to do this. See, it's injecting some random, like, that doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be 6444A, it should be 8080. Because that's also what's being injected. If you look at the other application, where are we? If you look at the other application, and we go to the service that's injected, it injects the right endpoint, localhost 8080. And this is getting its own port too. So how is this working then? I don't know how any of this works. It's not a bug, it's a feature. With HTTP endpoint port is proxied false. You think? Is that a new thing? Is proxied? Let's see. App host. Name bool is proxied. What does this do? Specifies if the endpoint will be proxied by DCP. I don't think that's relevant. It should, I guess the problem I'm confused about is it should honor this port as the environment variable. That's the part I don't understand. See? And it's not. This isn't being substituted, so it's defaulting back to 5173. Well, this isn't even honoring the port, because if you look at the environment variable for my web app, so it doesn't even make sense why this is loading up on 5173, because if you look at the environment variable, console logs. See, it's some other number and it's present. So the fact, I don't understand why it's not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a bunch of digging because this doesn't make any sense, and it seems to be behaving differently than how it used to behave for me. So I don't know. In any event, my time on YouTube has come to an end this morning. I must depart and go to work, but I feel very frustrated at the moment. This is the only thing AI is good at. Aspire's dynamic port assignment overrides local settings to manage its internal service. You'd know better than me. Hmm. Okay. So you keep nerd sniping me. See, they don't use his proxy here, and I don't think you need to. I wonder, Aspire, GitHub. I wonder if they have any issues logged around this. Or Aspire dashboard sometimes doesn't start, but app host boots successfully. Huh. I don't know, guys. I'm stumped. But this was fun, even though it was frustrating. I am going to go to work now. So appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. If you want to come back and hang out in the future, my schedule is I'm live from 4:15 a.m. to about 7 a.m. Sometimes I run late like this, so you're welcome to stop by anytime. And if you'd like to interact outside of stream, you can find us in our Discord channel. I'll put that in chat as well. Until next time, see you guys. Okay, bye. Bye. See you guys. Have a good day.